Hello, what's good, gamers? Been a while since I've streamed, hasn't it? Or just uploaded in general. Sorry about that. At first I was just taking a break, but then I ended up catching the flu, so I was kind of out of commission for a little while, but I'm back, and before I release a new video, which is going to be hopefully coming out this weekend, I've got someone working on editing a video that I think will be pretty interesting, and I've got other videos in the works, of course, at the moment. But right now, I wanted to do something a little bit fun, and I saw on Twitter that there was a review of Sonic 3 by Matt Walsh, who, if you don't know who that guy is, he's basically a well, I don't. I think he's. I think the his proper title is a comedian, but he's like the head of the conservative news group, The Daily Wire, which I made a video about one of the shows from their their premier streaming service, Mr. Bircham, which is high quality content for only the most enlightened of individuals, only the most based and non woke, fucking paragons of society. I see everyone is coming in at the moment. But yes, so Matt Walsh, I've never watched any of his content before. I have never seen anything that he has done, but I saw on Twitter that he had made a review of Sonic 3, as in like the movie Sonic 3 that just came out recently. And I saw a couple clips from it, and it looked like the worst thing ever. And I've talked about audio keeps clipping. Sorry, it might be my microphone. Freezing? Oh, sorry. Hold on. Is that me? Sorry, I do have a couple tabs open. Just let me know if it fixes itself. Sorry about that. You see, he is a comedian. The twist is he's the only joke there. Review, or more accurately, the fun police. Yeah. But yeah, so hopefully I'm not like lagging too much. Hopefully. But yeah, with this video, I already don't trust your explanation since you called him the head. I don't really know too much about the Daily Wire or his position within it. He's like the CEO or whatever. I have no idea. I just know he is related to the Daily Wire. Guy is boring as all hell. And I saw that he made a video on Sonic 3, the movie Sonic 3. And and like I said, saw a couple clips from it. Seemed like the worst thing ever. So I decided to go down this rabbit hole of basically watching videos from Matt Walsh, like reviews and reviews and videos from Matt Walsh talking about media. And needless to say, that was a massive mistake. But at the same time, it also has given me the opportunity to produce this content for you lovely individuals here. So I feel like it'll be a fun time just to talk about Mr. Walsh and his enlightened film takes, which, as you know, are going to be highly competent and highly based and not at all woke. There will be no wokeness in this house tonight. It will be purely based and red-pilled Chad, Giga Chad, mewing, looks maxing style takes. I would rather watch Skibbity Toilet from Da Fuck Boom than spend hours with this man. Well, too bad, honey. Too bad. We're in for the long haul here. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the long haul, baby. Let's go. So I've got a couple videos. Let me see, how many have I have picked out 5 of them. I'm not sure if we're going to get through all of them tonight. I don't know if I'm going to do a follow-up stream or not. I'm just doing this one because, it's fun, and I don't usually do live streams, so I figured it could be a fun little time waster while we're waiting for my next video to come out, whenever that releases, am I right? Sorry about the lagging upload schedule, but I am working, and I am planning to get videos out. It's just, it's taken a while, because I had the flu for like over a week, and it destroyed my lungs, and I could not record anything. It was a mess, but I am doing better now, and so, I want to do something fun. So let's start by looking at the thing that kickstarted all of this, Sonic 3, the movie that broke me as a father. Sounds like some intense shit. And that's a very healthy like-to-dislike ratio right there. I, of course, contributed to it myself, got help with the cause. So, And if there are any super chats that come through, I will try and read them like after, like between videos. So if I do not get to your super chat like immediately, do not worry. I'll also like intermittently just check on my phone, to see if there's anything coming up. Just like watch my own stream, like the narcissist that I am. And hopefully there will be no major issues. With the stream, I mean, not with this this video. We're hoping for issues with the video. It should be a fun time. Oh, your stream is lagging? Damn, I'm sorry. I have no idea what to do. Hold on, I'm gonna look at my own live stream just to see. So you're gonna hear a little bit of playback. Sorry about that. So I figured it could be a fun little time waster while we're waiting for my next video to come out, whenever that releases, am I right? I think that's just my camera not being great. Sorry about that. But yeah, here we go. First of all, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. As long as the audio's okay, I feel like it's fine. The movie that broke me as a father. He was back broken, as Tariq Nasheed would put it. This man has been back broken. He is no longer a man. He has he has joined the transgenders, the group that he so hated. He is no longer a father. He is a mother, thanks to Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Sounds like some intense shit, so let's get to it.
When a man becomes a father.
Let me know if there's any, besides my camera, of course, not being great, let me know if there are any problems. That's not Matt Walsh, that's Eggman in disguise. Human version of constipation. Oh, the ratio. Oh, it hurts. Keep saying I'm lagging. Sorry. I really don't know what to do to improve that. Sorry. I don't live stream very often, so as you can see, I'm a little bit ill-equipped to handle whatever. So hold on, let me look at the property. Sorry to be you keep stuttering? Sorry, man. Damn. I guess I'm just doomed to have poor live stream shit. Drop frame rates. Damn, hold on. I am dropping a lot of frames, it seems. Weird. Huh. That is odd. Sorry. Sorry to be just like fucking working on OBS. My bad. Let me see if I can do some shit to help with this. Let's stop the media source, see how that does. There we go, that's helping a little bit. Sorry about this. I guess my internet's not doing too hot at the moment. Sorry about that. I put the video on 0.9 speed. Sorry. I am not trying to be technically incompetent here, but I guess I am. Looking at my own stream. He has joined the transgenders, the group that he so hated. He is no longer a father, he is a mother, thanks to Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Sounds like some intense shit, so let's get to it. When a man becomes a father, let me know. Yeah, it's whatever. I mean, the visual part isn't even like the most important, and I'm just like fucking talking about whatever. So, don't even pay attention to the visuals. The visuals don't matter. All that matters is my commentary, which is so great. And I have tried to up the frame rate a little bit. Hopefully that helps. Sorry. Anyway, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the movie that broke me as a father. We've put it off for too long. Let's get into this.
When a man becomes a father, he's called upon to make sacrifices for his family, and often these will be small.
He's really going through it. These guys, he's really going through it, guys. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie. Apparently, to him, it was like the trials of Odysseus, constantly having to go and prove himself to his family that he's a man.
Small sacrifices. Sometimes they'll be larger, though, more significant. And on even rarer occasion, the duties of fatherhood will require him to make the kind of sacrifice that, up to that moment,
I will not subscribe or like or get Daily Wire Plus No, thank you. I got my fill with Mr. Bertram. I feel like I'm good after that. Why is there a banjo in the background also? What's going on with that? Is that just he's on a pedestal? Okay.
He would have thought himself.
Sorry, I'm just trying to think of interesting things to say because he is so fucking boring and monotonous. Like, speed it up, buddy. Come on. How are you gonna let Funny Blue Hedgehog movie ruin you as a father? How are you not gonna let that happen? I mean, how are you not? That's how it goes. Did you not watch it? It broke me. It broke Matt Walsh as a father. It's like Bane. You know, it took him, raised him up, high to the ceiling, broke his back on his knee.
Himself incapable of making. These are the moments when a man must become a hero. When
Oh, he's a hero.
he
Okay.
must lay his very life on the line.
Oh, I see. This is his extended nostalgia critic style bit. He's doing the fucking 2009 movie reviewer thing where he's like, I really didn't want to have to watch this movie, but unfortunately, my evil doppelganger from another dimension is forcing me to watch it. And I'll do it for you guys. But instead of doing it for us, the viewers, he's doing it for his family, for his kids.
And this may take many forms. Perhaps he's rushing into a burning building to rescue his child from the fire. Perhaps he has to pull his loved one away from the path of a speeding train because they've been tied to the tracks by bandits.
Did he even script this? Or did he just like, he was just like, cameraman, come here, cameraman. I've got thoughts about this movie that I saw with my children, and I want to express them immediately. Scripts are for the weak. They're for the woke mind virus. Come on, let's do it. We're doing it right now. Let's go.
Or whatever. Or most harrowing of all, he may be compelled by his paternal obligations to go to a movie theater and watch Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
So watching Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is equivalent to entering a burning building or saving a loved one who's tied to train tracks. Man, this must be a real intense experience here. Whew.
Now, a man in that situation would, of course, much prefer to be engulfed in flames or hit.
Why? Oh, I guess he's really amping up just how terrible this movie's gonna be. Holy shit. He's about to drop some bombs on us. Be prepared, people. Hiroshima 2.0 is about to happen, and the name of it is Matt Walsh descending upon Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Hit by a speeding train, but that would be the coward's way out.
I would probably choose a speeding train over this video, because at least it would be speeding instead of this fucking mushmouth, slow-paced shit that you're doing right now.
He endures Sonic the Hedgehog 3 for the sake of his children.
Okay.
And over Christmas break, that is precisely the situation that I found myself in.
Fucking speed it up, buddy. I got things to do. I got places to be. Okay, no, I don't. I'm watching Matt Walsh at like 9 or 10 or whatever period, whatever time period you guys are watching this from. But you know, like, at least I can admit it. At least I can admit I don't have anything better to do. Like, I mean, me watching your videos, at least that's entertainment for me. I find that funny. I think it's fun. For you, this is just like, what else do you have to do? What else are you going to do? What are you going to spend your time doing other than this? And making fucking movies that nobody really wants to go see.
Now, for the record, I'll say I greatly enjoyed most of the time that I spent with my wife and kids these past 2 weeks. We had a lot of fun together. We played football. We played outside. We shot BB guns. We played card games and board games. I completely wrecked my whole family in Monopoly 2 nights in a row.
That's very great, Matt. What do you think of Sonic the Hedgehog 3? It's been a minute and a half and you have not said anything about the movie. I'm starting to think that, you know, maybe you're just like stalling for time because you don't have anything to say. Or maybe you're just a boring person in general who feels like in between his movie reviews, he needs to bring up that he played Monopoly and he won Monopoly. Like, oh, real accomplishment there, Matt. Or is he just like padding this out to say like, listen, I have a wife, I have children. We do manly things at my house. We shoot BB guns. We eat meat. We kill bears. All that jazz. I'm a man. I am manly. I am a provider for my family.
Wasn't even close. We took the kids ice skating. I was ice skating.
Ice skating's not very manly, Matt. Some might even call it feminine or gay. You're already losing points here, buddy.
My wife and kids were left dumbstruck by my gracefulness and elegance on the ice. They didn't say that, but I know they were thinking it. These were all wonderful experiences. Yet things took a rather distressing turn on the final Thursday of the break when my 8-year-old son and 5-year-old daughter asked me to take them to go see Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And
2 minutes in, still nothing said. Nothing of substance, at least. We are just watching Matt Walsh continue to spit off facts about his fucking vacation. This is what he does. Is this just what he does in every video? He's just like, he promises a review of Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and then he goes off and just like fucking makes the video about his fucking winter vacation. I think he's mad because he wanted to go see Mufasa. Oh, for sure. He wanted to go see the brother. What did you say about my brother movie? He wanted to go see that one.
And I did. God help me. God help me.
Man, he's really hyping up how bad this movie is. Like, why don't you say something about why it's bad, Matt?
I did. Now, before I offer my brief review.
Sorry if you hear me swallowing there. I just gotta take a sip, stay hydrated to make sure that Matt Walsh doesn't physically drain me too much.
View of this thing that I hesitate to call a film. I must first acknowledge, in all fairness, I never saw Sonic the Hedgehog 1 or Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Okay, so he only saw the third movie. That's interesting.
It's possible that one cannot fully appreciate the narrative complexities of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 without having seen the first 2 chapters.
I mean, he's saying that, like, that's not the case, but there is actually, you know, like, a lot of build-up over the movies, building the cast, building the friendships of the characters. The whole movie is about the concept of family and how much the main guy, Tom, means to Sonic, and the relation that it has to Shadow, who lost his version of Tom in Maria and has basically spent the last 50 years brooding in the anger that has festered because of it. So yeah, actually there are narrative complexities to the Sonic the Hedgehog movies that would be lost on you if you only watch the third movie.
In this epic Hedgehog saga. Maybe the other 2 movies are works of staggering artistic genius that would elevate the third installment and lend it the sort of context necessary for me to have appreciated it and enjoyed it instead of feeling like I was being waterboarded with high fructose corn syrup the whole time.
What does that mean? What does that even mean? You have said nothing, and we're almost 3 minutes in. This is a review, right? Say something.
But I doubt.
You just said that it's bad. That's all you've said. You said that you think it's bad. Compelling stuff, Matt.
I mean, this is the kind of movie where Jim Carrey plays 2 characters. One,
yeah, he does a really great job. You know, you hardly even realize that they're the same actor because the integration is so seamless. He's able to bounce off of himself as 2 different characters so fantastically. Like you would never be able to expect just how perfectly he's able to play it. And not only that, just how differently the characters of Robotnik and Gerald are. Like they're so separate. They're such different characters at the end of the day, and yet they're played by the same actor who's literally interacting with himself on separate planes through, I'm guessing, a green screen and shooting things multiple times, and he's able to do that. Like that's fantastic. That's fucking interesting. That's cool. That's fucking wild. Oh, got a $2 from Cancer. We e-fapping or what? Yes, we are every frame a pausing Matt Walsh videos. I suppose that is what we be doing.
Is the evil villain, and the other is the evil villain's evil grandfather in old age makeup. And the 2 break into an impromptu dance routine that makes no narrative sense. But
it makes no narrative sense. What are you talking about? It makes no narrative sense that they dance after they feel like they have won in a situation, or not won, but at least like everything is going to plan for them, and they feel like they're ahead of everyone, and they're just like, we are so fucking ahead, let's just go into a fucking dance. Or do you just not have any whimsy in your heart? Like if you see a dance montage with 2 characters, you're like, ugh, I hate dancing. This is not manly enough. Where is the meat? Where is the blood and the sex and the violence?
It's approximately 87 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's the kind of movie where those same characters before the dance routine actually look directly into the camera and explain that they're being played by the same actor.
You mean the meta joke that's like funny? The joke, like they literally like they're meeting for the first time, these two characters, Gerald and Robotnik, who are played by the same actor, yet they are vastly different in age, and they're basically making a joke of like, wow, I mean, I've never seen my family before, but you look so similar. And then at one point they go like, it's almost like we're the same actor being played in a Hollywood movie. And then they just briefly look to the camera. Like, that's what he is referring to. Yeah, that's called a joke, Matt. It's how jokes, it's a joke. I mean, it's not an explanation. It's just, them doing a gag. Oh, got another super chat from Yeser Senpai. Got DKK50. I don't know what that is, but 2 minutes in, and his life story didn't get more interesting. No? Unfortunately not. Well, actually, no, that's not fair. That's not too fair to Mr. Walsh. I wanted to know about how he won multiple games of Monopoly. That's very interesting to me. Oh, $5 from Retro. Conservatives are the other end of the spectrum. They hate fun and think everyone has to follow their worldview like progressives. Okay. Well, when it comes to Mr. Matt Walsh, he doesn't. We have established that he likes Monopoly, he likes figure skating, but he does not like dancing, and he does not like humor. So we're building an interesting picture here, a very interesting silhouette, a Mona Lisa of the character that is Mr. Matt Walsh.
I must assume, and I think assume safely, that there is nothing in the other two films that would make this one any less obnoxious or horrifically stupid.
Okay, what's horrifically stupid or obnoxious about it? You just said, like, oh, characters, they dance at one point. Characters are played by the same actor, and they make a joke about it. So that means the whole movie sucks. It's all bad. Oh, terrible.
I'm not going to bother explaining the plot of this film in any detail. I wasn't.
Oh, you're not going to bother saying the plot of the movie that is so bad? Okay.
Tracking it that closely, to be honest.
Oh, so you weren't
was mostly
you weren't paying attention then?
fighting to stay awake. This is the kind of.
Oh, okay. He was fighting to stay awake. So you were fighting to stay awake, and you did not pay attention to the plot. So how do you know that it's bad? Or why are you even making a video on it? If you you didn't pay attention enough to actually focus in on the details with which you would use to criticize the film. If you didn't even pay attention to it, Mr. Matt Walsh, Mr. Beard Man.
A movie that
is that beard even real, or is that do you just put that on before the video shoot? It looks a little bit fake to me, Mr. Walsh. Are those glasses even prescription? Is anything about you real? I don't think so.
bores you to the point of putting you to sleep, but also annoys you at the same time. It's kind of an odd combination.
It bores you to the point of falling asleep. Okay, I mean, I'd like to understand how. Honestly, I feel like I've only watched the first and third movie, to be honest. I do know about the second movie, and I've seen clips from it, but I have, all the way through, I've only seen the first and third movie. And I felt that the third movie was actually better paced than the first one. I feel like there's always something going on. It never feels like the plot is lagging. I know in the second movie, there was the whole wedding plot, which not everyone loved or whatever, but in this third one, I felt like everything was constantly moving along. There was no, really, significant downtime or anything. I felt like there wasn't any major problems with the pacing. So if you could, explain that, then I would, be interested to hear your points, but I don't think you have any. I don't think you actually have anything to say. You're just kind of saying that because you fell asleep or whatever. Oh, got a $5 from Noah Darden, Tom fan. $5. I'm just going to say it. Sonic 3 handles the themes of grief and loss better than Big Hero 6. It's been a while since I've watched Big Hero 6, but honestly, from what I remember, yeah, I would agree. I feel like it's a very interesting exploration of grief.
Combination to be both sleepy and deeply irritated simultaneously.
Almost 4 minutes in.
As for the plot, I can only tell you that Sonic is the good hedgehog, which you
okay.
There's also an evil hedgehog voiced by Keanu Reeves.
What? Shadow is not evil. He's not evil. He's suicidal. That's what he is. He's lost. He's personally lost because he lost like the one important person in his life that made him feel like life was worth living. So now he's basically going on a suicide mission with Gerald to destroy the Earth and themselves along with it as a final act of revenge against the planet. I mean, I wouldn't call him I mean, he's doing a villainous thing, but it's not based on like a villainous motive. And he's able to actually, team up with Sonic after they have a heart to heart and realize they're not so personally different. And like Sonic, he cares for Tom. He would also be willing to go God mode and just fucking kill people if Tom was dead. So, but they also like realize they're not going to be able to solve their grief problems by killing everyone. So Shadow, he sees the error of his ways and teams up with Sonic. So, Shadow, he's misunderstood, and he's not it's not that he wants to kill people, it's just that he doesn't care about the world. He needs to be reminded of its importance. Oh, we got a $10 super chat from Artificial Duck. It's so nice to go through with Matt's first time watching a movie. Oh yeah, no, this is his second time watching a movie. His first movie was Boss Baby, and so this whole video this time around is going to be like getting a lot of Boss Baby vibes from this.
And I like Keanu Reeves, by the way, but like every other voice actor in this film and most voice actors in most children's films that have been made for the past 20 years, he has no talent as a voice actor and doesn't understand how to act with just your voice.
What are you talking about? There's not been a single voice actor in the past 20 years who can voice act? How? What does that even fucking mean? What? Did something happen 20 years ago? Was there some mass extinction level event of voice actors that I did not know about? Was there like some chronic drug overdosage in the entertainment industry specifically for voice actors? Was there a gene that went around that completely permanently changed the way people could use their voices so that the good voice acting is impossible? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Also, like, with Keanu Reeves' performance, I could go a little bit back and forth on it, honestly, for Sonic 3. Like, it's not my favorite performance ever. It's not even my favorite Shadow performance. I mean, I'm not that into Sonic, but I have heard various Shadow performances, and Keanu Reeves, not my favorite, honestly. But I don't think he did a bad job. And he especially, like, he was able to express the emotions of the character. Like, I have no idea what he's talking about with this. But maybe what does Matt Walsh think a good voice actor is, and why has there not been a single one in the last 20 years? I want to know about his conspiracy theory here.
But he's famous, so that's good enough, I suppose.
Okay. Well, I mean, he is famous, so I don't. That's probably why he got the position. Yeah, I mean, like. He did also, like, from what I read into it, it looks like he did actually do a lot of research when it came to understanding the character and figuring out, like he actually played the games to try to get into character. And Idris Elba, he's also another one with fucking, have you guys seen that video where he's like, he's just, like, it's the various voice actors recording a scene, and Idris Elba just has fucking Knuckles gloves on as he's recording. Like, that shit cracked me up. That's funny. Like, that's one way of getting into character.
So Sonic has to stop the evil hedgehog and his evil cohorts. The Jim Carrey
let's just say it's the evil
dancing duo I mentioned earlier.
All right.
From blowing up the world with a big laser.
Yeah.
And this has
not just blowing up the world, but like, disintegrating all living creatures within a, like, whatever, 10,000 mile radius. I think there was like a specified thing there.
Been the evil plan of every evil villain in every blockbuster franchise film for the past 3 decades.
I mean, I guess, but like, there is the thing that sets this apart is that it's very personally motivated by the grief of the characters. It doesn't really matter if it's cliched, as long as there's like an interesting basis behind it that's like rooted in the characters and their specific story.
It's a formula that this movie is not interested in deviating from.
There are a lot of things I would say about Sonic 3. I don't think it's very formulaic.
This is not the sort of movie that deviates from formulas. Now,
okay, how?
If you're
not actually going to say how. You're just going to be like, I say the thing, believe me, and then move on. No examples, no explanation. That's just how it is. That's just how it is when you're with Matt Walsh.
Wondering why the evil hedgehog and the two Jim Carreys want to explode the world and murder.
Well, actually, Robotnik doesn't want to destroy the world. He wants to conquer it. That's like his whole thing, is that, ever since the first movie, he's been this fucking evil tech genius, thinks he's better than everyone, wants to take over the world, essentially. It's Gerald who, again, like, without telling Robotnik that he wants to destroy the world.
8 billion people in a cosmic blast that they will also die in.
Mm-hmm.
It's because the older Jim Carrey's granddaughter, I think,
Yeah.
was killed.
Mm-hmm.
And now he wants to commit murder-suicide because life isn't worth living.
Yeah. Pretty summed it up. Yeah.
Like, that's real. That's
I don't understand what the problem is. That's his personal character motivation. He loved his granddaughter. There's the same, like, between Shadow and Gerald, they both loved Maria. That was like their main motivation. And then Maria got killed senselessly. So now, in their grief, in their long-stricken grief, they have decided life is no longer worth living, and they are going to annihilate everything as an act of revenge on the world that took her. Is there something wrong with that?
That's in the movie.
Yes.
He actually declares his suicidal intention as well.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. After fucking Robotnik's like, "Hey, wait. What are we doing here? I want to conquer the world." And he's like, "No, we need to fucking blow it up. We need to destroy it. This world does not deserve to exist, and I would rather die and take out literally everyone else on Earth than live in it for another moment longer." Like, that's fucking metal as fuck.
Now, if that seems like weirdly bleak and dark for a kids movie where the characters bust out impromptu dance routines and...
Well, at one point they do burst out into an impromptu dance routine, but like kids movies can be dark sometimes. And also, it's not just a kids movie. Anyone can watch it. It's more like a family movie, honestly. It's not strictly for little babies.
Randomly break the fourth wall and constantly speak in internet lingo from 2019.
Wait, what are we talking about there? What is that? What? Internet lingo from 2019.
There's a lot of that, by the way. Just as one example, at one point, Jim Carrey says, "Damn you, autocorrect."
That's not speaking in internet lingo from 2019. That's making a joke about autocorrect, which is a thing that has existed for a long time and still currently does exist. That's not internet lingo. Internet lingo would be like skibbity riz gat phantom tax fucking pepino goon sesh. That's lingo. Just stop. It's kind of funny how there's videos of the alt-right using Sonic as another one of the anti-woke movie, while still having videos complaining how woke it is. I haven't heard too much about wokeness. He's kind of just been saying that he thinks it's terrible so far. I'm sure we'll get to it eventually, though. I mean, there's a black hedgehog in it. DEI much?
If it seems weirdly bleak and dark for that kind of movie, it's because it is.
I mean, it's a direct translation of the video games, and films have the ability to balance comedy with more serious ideas if they want to.
It's a movie, like so many kids' movies these days.
Kind of would be so down with hitting him, actually. Are we talking? What are we talking about here? I have no idea. 20 years ago, we didn't have good voice acting. If there has been crap tons, the 2008 Up comes to mind. Voice acting in video games too. I have no idea what this is saying. This is just gibberish to me.
Schizophrenically darts back and forth from being ironic to painfully self-serious.
It's not ironic. It's just, occasionally. There's like one or two fourth wall breaking jokes ever where it's just like, in between the regular story.
To goofy, to earnest.
Wow, it's almost like things can have multiple tones. And they can, not just be one way for the entire movie. Matt Walsh, he must be, fucking absolutely shocked when he's watching, a happy movie and then a sad thing happens. Why would they go from sad to happy to sad? They weren't happy. They were happy until a minute ago.
And so on and so on. It doesn't try to smooth over these tonal transitions with good writing or performances. The writing is just just terrible. And
Okay, how? Probably not going to say how, but I feel like I would ask just as a courtesy, try to hear you out, even though you're not going to say anything of substance.
the performances are atrocious across the board.
Why?
Instead, it just flings it all against the wall haphazardly.
How?
Because these are all bullet points that the movie studio knows it has to hit.
What?
Because this movie, again, like so many kids' movies these days, is not the fulfillment of anyone's creative vision.
How is that the case, Mr. Walsh? I would genuinely be interested to know what you mean by that. It's not the fulfillment of anyone's creative vision. I mean, I feel like it is. Like, the main thing people were praising this movie for was its, like, adherence to the canon while creating its own version of the story, doing its own creative deviations while still keeping in line with the darker tone of the Sonic Adventure 2 story. Taking a lot of risks that you wouldn't normally see in family movies.
It is just the product of a corporate algorithm.
What is that? What are you talking about?
It is loud and ugly and obnoxious.
How is it ugly? I mean, I actually think, like, among, like, modern movies that have a lot of CGI in them, Sonic 3 looked really fucking good for some reason. Like, considering its budget, it actually looks really high quality, especially during action scenes. Like, they do a good mixture between the CGI characters and the real setting. There's a lot of really impressive action sequences, especially between Shadow and Sonic as they're fighting. And, like, it's really dynamic and well done and looks nice. It's fucking crisp. Like, ugly, I have no idea what you mean when you say that this film is ugly, because it does not look ugly at all.
And disjointed.
What's disjointed about it? It's a pretty, like, easy to follow story. I mean, I guess you were asleep for parts of it, so you probably didn't realize that.
Because nobody who made the film actually cared about making a good film.
What the fuck do you mean? God, I hate that criticism. I hate when, not even a criticism, I hate when people say, like, nobody cared. Nobody who worked on this movie cared about making it. Like, what the fuck do you know about the production, about the people involved with it? You can just tell nobody cared. Nobody, all the work that went into this movie, no, they didn't. They didn't care. Nobody cared. Nobody cared about this movie. I mean, of course. I mean, obviously Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the movie that all of the fans loved for, like, taking the source material and doing a good job translating it to a new fucking medium, and, like, putting so much care into it. They didn't care, actually. There was no care.
And they have absolutely no respect for their audience.
You mean the audience that loved this movie? Oh, but no, you're not. It didn't appeal to you. But you see, Matt, the thing is, you are not the audience because people like certain things. Unlike you, you don't seem to like a lot of things. I'm sure you like the banjo that's in the background there. I'm sure you like your various trinkets. You like your liberal tears mug. But you do not like Sonic 3, and that's okay. But you don't have to say that it's a bad movie just because you personally don't like it.
I mean, this movie could have been made by AI. This is
what? What do you fucking mean, AI?
We are at a point. If they start making movies with AI,
he's just like listing up. He's just going through all of the fucking checkpoints of a late 2000s or even or recent internet reviewer, where it's just like made by AI. Nobody cared about making it. Intro skit about how much he didn't want to do it or didn't want to see the movie. Like, he's just going through all the shit. When do you think his evil twin's going to show up? The libtard version of him.
We would not know the difference because they've effectively been doing that for 20 years now.
I don't think AI has been that advanced in the last 20 years. I feel like that's been more of a recent development there, Matt.
Now, you might respond here, as many people on Twitter did after I gave a very brief review of this film in a tweet.
Oh, you're not calling it X? I thought you liked Elon Musk. I thought you would have liked Elon Musk. I guess not.
On the site a few days ago. You might respond on that, well, this movie isn't for me. It's for kids.
Well, no. It's a family movie. Can be enjoyed by kids or adults. It's got themes of familial grief, dealing with the loss of a loved one. It's got major character death and sacrifice. There's, like, actual stakes that go into it. There's fucking serious shit as well as lightheartedness. It's got Jim Carrey in it, you know, who gives a pretty good performance. Gives a pretty fun performance as both Ivo and Gerald.
Well, first of all, tell that to the other people in the theater with us. I can tell you that my kids were by far the youngest people in attendance. There were
Okay.
multiple groups of adults.
Mm-hmm.
Just adults, no kids.
All right.
Whole groups of them.
Okay.
Who bought tickets to Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Wow. Incredible.
Also, tell it to the multiple grown adults who got angry at me on Twitter for not liking the movie.
It's not that you don't like the movie. It's that you cannot explain why the movie is bad, and your criticisms are terrible, and they are not criticisms. You're just saying things without actually backing up literally any of the claims that you make. Yeah, that's probably why people are mad. It's probably not because you disliked the movie. And also, nobody is saying, like, well, it's a kid's film. You have to expect less from it. Lots of, like, this is critically and audience well-received movie. Everybody likes this. Everybody seems to like this movie. Everybody seems to agree that this movie is good. And whoa, you're telling me that adults like to watch movies? Family movies? Movies that are based on properties which have been around for over 30 years? No way. This is a revelation to me, Matt. You're really blowing my mind with this one.
The funny thing is that a lot of those same people say, well, it's not for you, it's for kids. Why
Not saying that. I have not heard anyone say that. Not personally.
are you getting so upset about it then?
I'm getting upset about it because you're giving bad criticisms that are not applicable to the movie and actually directly contradict the interesting fucking divergent take that the film gives. And its unique, interesting qualities, which set it apart from the average kids or family film.
Why are you tearfully defending a movie that you claim is not for you either?
Well, maybe for those people who are defending it despite saying that, supposedly at least, maybe they just, they think you're full of shit. Have you ever thought about that, Matt? Have you ever thought about maybe, people just don't like that you're slandering a movie poorly and giving shit criticism?
In fact, one person told me that my negative comments had upset, and I'm repeating this phrase verbatim, had upset the, quote, Sonic community.
Yeah. I've seen multiple videos of people responding to this.
Those are not kids who identify themselves as members.
Oh, adults like Sonic? What are you? What are you, autistic? What are you, gay? Are you woke? You like Sonic the Hedgehog and you're over the age of 5? Get a job. Do manly things like eat meat. Eat meat. Go figure skating. Play Monopoly. Shoot your children with BB guns. Be an adult. Can't handle this shit. Like, what year is this? Is this 2005? That we're slander. Are we gonna? What's next? Are we gonna be fucking slandering people for collecting action figures? For having plushes? For watching cartoons? You can't watch cartoons. Those are for children. You can't watch those. What are you doing? That's a baby movie. It's for babies.
Members of the Sonic community. My 8-year-old loves Sonic. But he's not on Twitter furiously defending the Sonic community from its detractors.
Okay.
So I agree.
Maybe he will in the future. Who knows?
These kinds of movies are for kids.
You never can see into the future, Matt.
But I am not the one who needs to be told that. Okay? Second, and this is most important, and it shouldn't need to be explained, but really it does. And
All right, Matt.
Really,
explain to me. Give me that clean explanation. Give me that good shit.
My only point here. It is possible to make a children's movie that,
family movie,
although it's for children, is still a good, high quality piece of art.
Okay. And this is not why? What is wrong with it? What makes this like lower? What makes this why doesn't this have the Matt Walsh seal of approval? What's lacking here?
I don't hate children's movies just because they're for children. Quite the opposite. As a father of
You just seem to hate this movie just because you didn't want to see it, and then you fell asleep, and then you woke up, and you were like, "I'm gonna say this movie is bad because I didn't watch it and I don't like it, but it's bad because it's bad." And then when people were like, "Hey, this is kind of a terrible criticism. You're really making a shitty criticism here," he's like, "Ah, these fucking virgins, these man babies who like things that I do not personally like. You know what? Get the camera ready. I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna make a video addressing these chuds, these beta males. They probably don't even have beards. They probably don't even figure skate."
6, I've watched
$5 from One Up Films. Matt Walsh is so out of touch, it is unbelievable. You can say that again.
many children's movies. Okay, I've watched way more than the average person because I have so many.
Oh yeah,
kids.
yeah. You have so many kids. It seems you have 2, right?
And I greatly appreciate the good ones. A few nights ago, just as an
Okay, what are some good ones?
we watched the movie Iron Giant with my kids, and
It's a pretty great movie. Pretty great movie.
That's an animated children's film. It's also well written, beautifully.
Again, like that's more of a family film. Like it's not for babies.
Illustrated, brilliantly performed, tonally consistent. It's funny and heartwarming, and at points it's sad, but it works all of that in a way that feels natural to the story. It's a children's film, and it's also a great film, one that I can watch and also enjoy. Because as it turns out...
Well, you didn't watch Sonic 3, though, so how can you really say whether or not you enjoyed it?
Children's movies are not just for children. They're for parents, too.
They're for everyone, really. They can be. Like, that's what the family film is called.
Or at least they should be. Okay, if a kid's movie or kid's show is so grating and so dumb and so unpleasant that parents...
And Sonic 3 is that because it has suicidal villains and bleakness. And also Jim Carrey dancing and making a fourth wall break. That means it's bad. One. Oop, fucking.
Parents can't stand to be in the same room while it's on. That doesn't mean it's for kids. It isn't for kids. It isn't for anyone. It's just bad. And the fact
you have not explained that at all.
The fact that people say, well, of course it's bad. It's for kids.
People are not saying that about Sonic 3. I think you're the only one who's saying that. I think you have created this straw man for yourself.
Tells you everything you need to know about our culture. They act like it's ridiculous to expect the content produced for kids to be high quality.
Okay, I'm just gonna like fucking skip through this because like this is not an argument people are making.
Especially have artistic.
At least not about Sonic 3.
Merit, which is why I hated Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And why it is today, I must say, sadly, canceled.
What? What does that mean? Canceled? What? Okay, what? All right. Let's see how's the dislikes changed ever since. Oh, already up another 100. See, got my comment here, 1.2k likes. Hopefully, maybe I'll be able to ratio this video with a comment. This guy already has. I wasn't paying attention to the movie, so why are you complaining about it? True words, very true words there. That was our first instance of Matt Walsh and his genius, his comedic genius, his reviewing prowess. But now we're gonna move on to another video called Matt Walsh ranks the top 5 most overrated films. Ooh, this is gonna be a spicy one. Some hot takes here. I'm really interested to see what Matt Walsh thinks of movies. After that Sonic 3 review, we already know that he's a king. He's a lord when it comes to making some might even call him a lore master. When it comes to making these movies. Let's see what Chad is saying before we move on with this this romp of intellectualism. I just got here, and the first thing you were saying, you can't watch cartoons, those are for babies. And I just thought of that one image of the robot putting in a no fun sign. Oh yeah, from the fucking Archie comics, yeah. I mean, you can't expect Matt to know how a regular person acts. He acts like a robot that was fed nothing but transphobia and Facebook memes, alright? And that's why so many movies, even today, do. Transformers 1 is a great example. Bro about to mention the Iron Giant as an example. The double standard is insane. He's just repeating movie talking points that don't apply. Matt Walsh is giving every single YouTuber in the 2010s that endlessly shat on Sonic and how it's been bad since Sonic Adventure. Oh, he's channeling his Aaron Hansen right now. Anyway, let's see. What are the top 5 most overrated movies according to Matt Walsh? What is his criteria? Okay, so he's playing, well, that doesn't look like him actually, but somebody's playing Flappy Bird.
We're rolling.
Yeah. Today we're going to run down a list of the
Still got that banjo in the background. Very important fixture of the Matt Walsh channel.
5 most overrated films of all time.
Ooh, got the slick filmmaker editing here. Ooh. Where'd you get these effects, Matt? Did you learn what Adobe After Effects is? Did you get someone else to do it for you? I mean, that's most likely what happened, right? I mean, hey, at least there's some energy. At least this time he's not just blankly staring into the camera, looking straight at you, telling you in slow, unnerving detail how much he didn't like Sonic 3 because he fell asleep in the middle of the movie, and he didn't like it because Gerald Robotnik is suicidal.
Now, this is the definitive list. There can be no argument, no discussion. We should turn off comments
Oh, I was making a joke before, but yeah, he genuinely has that leftist tears mug.
on YouTube because this list is so verifiably correct that there's really nothing to talk about.
All
Now,
right.
One thing to remember as we
Obviously, he's trying to go for joking, like, I mean, it's just my opinion, guys. Don't get your elbows in a twist.
is this overrated does not mean bad. So I'm not
Oh,
saying
got
that the film-
$5 from King J Rule. Matt Walsh, I called this movie bad despite not paying attention and not watching the previous films. Why are people mad at me? Must be woke.
films on this list are bad. Some of them are, but not all of them.
Okay.
Overrated just means that they aren't as good as people make them out to be. Their reputation is greater than the actual product on the screen. So
I mean, there are plenty of movies like that. You could make a genuine argument for why they're not quite as great as some people might believe. So let's see what Matt Walsh has to say.
let's begin. Number 5, Shawshank Redemption.
Okay. Starting off strong. I mean, personally, I haven't actually watched Shawshank Redemption, so I'll be playing devil's advocate here just to see what he says. But, let's see. Why does he think the Shawshank Redemption, which is, as far as I am aware, considered a highly acclaimed movie, bad?
Now,
Actually.
this is not a bad film. It is,
Okay.
in fact,
All right, so it's not bad.
it's a pretty good film, but it has gained the reputation of a cinematic masterpiece, mostly because millennials grew up watching the movie on TNT, where it aired approximately 46 times a week.
Okay.
And
So you're just saying, people only like it because of nostalgia.
Shawshank it's a fine story.
All right.
It's a well-told story, but it's also incredibly cliched, overwrought, quite cheap.
Okay, so it's cliched. So, I mean, like, if it's presumably a film that lots of people enjoy and love, they probably do something with those cliches if there are a lot of them, right? I mean, like, just saying that a film has cliches is not going to, like, that doesn't make for a good, genuine criticism. That's just saying, there are things in it that other movies have done. Like, if a film is cliched and it doesn't do anything with those cliches, then that could be a point of criticism that it's not innovating or doing anything with it. But, if there is actually an attempt to use those cliches and to create a new interesting format, something interesting with it, then what's even the problem? Like, if they have a good execution, if they're able to use it in the context of something new or effective, then, who cares if it's cliched? That's not really a good criticism just to say it's cliched. Like, what is that? What do you mean? Got $5 from Just Plain Dan? Think it's more than safe to say he went in not wanting to like it, lol. Oh, $5 again from Majin Lifestyle. Matt saying so and so is canceled is basically how Matt ends most of his videos. Basically his end of video calling card. Oh, I see. Okay. So he just says things are canceled. All right.
Cheesy, extremely predictable. Every character is
Okay, it's predictable. Like, who cares if the actual ride, the adventure the characters go on is still engaging and enjoyable?
a walking archetype.
Okay, how?
Every story beat can be seen from a
I'll ask how very often, just to help illustrate that he never explains anything that he says. Like, there is no elaboration whatsoever.
mile away. The movie doesn't do anything new or different with the prison drama format except sanitize it. So
Okay, what does that mean?
Shawshank is to prison movies what Remember the Titans
You're just saying things. You're just saying words. You're not giving them any meaning.
is to football movies. They're both massively overrated. Not even the best versions of their particular subgenre.
Okay.
Much less are they in the conversation for the greatest movies of all time. My biggest problem, though, with Shawshank is that the inmates are all the nicest, most decent human beings you could ever meet.
Okay, why? So the members of Shawshank are not terrible people despite being in prison? Wow, what an alien concept. I can't you're telling me that people in prison, criminals, can not be terrible all the time? Maybe even look out for each other? No. No. No, criminals are all irrational beasts. That guy who committed tax evasion, he is evil to the core. He can have no good in him. This isn't really a criticism. It's just like a personal preference. Like, this isn't realistic. Like, it's fiction. Like, even if, like, regardless of how you feel about it, it's a fictional movie.
Minus the two who are rapists.
Oh, okay, so not everyone is good in it. Not everyone is actually good in the movie. So you just, okay.
It's your world, boss.
All the rest of them are kind, sensitive, friendly souls. They hang out, they play board games, they go to the library, they start.
Doesn't happen in prison. There can be no bonding between criminals. No way! No way!
A book club, they run a lemonade stand out front. Not all that actually happens in the movie, but it could have happened.
Okay.
So if not for the evil warden and the couple of rapists,
if not for the rapists, then there would,
Shawshank actually seems like
if you got rid of the rapists,
not a bad place.
Shawshank seems like not a bad place, minus the evil warden and the rapists. Like, what's he even complaining about? Also, isn't Shawshank Redemption about a guy who gets falsely imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit? Isn't that like the thing? So, like, being treated like a criminal in general, being put into a place with rapists, having an evil warden that constantly watches over him, being in prison, isn't that all just, like, negative?
Spend time. Like, it's not even clear why Tim Robbins wants to escape so badly.
Oh, I wonder why someone who did not commit a crime, who was falsely convicted, might want to escape prison. I wonder why. Just because, like one of the inmates was nice to him, and then they weren't the rapists. Like, there was only a couple rapists in there. Why does he want to leave?
So, and that
I've not seen this movie. Repeat, I have not seen it, but he's not given a good explanation here.
takes away from a lot of the drama and the tension. Number 4.
Oh, that's it. That's the whole thing. He just said they're not. It's not that bad a place, minus the rapist and the evil warden. All right, what's wrong with Toy Story, Matt? Lay it on me. One of the most very important film when it comes to technological advancements in animation. What's wrong with it?
Now, again,
I mean, actually, there are problems with Toy Story, I feel. Like, it's not a perfect movie.
good film for what it is. It's one of the best kids' movies in the last 3 decades.
I don't know about that. I mean, it's pretty good.
It's just not good enough to warrant 3 sequels with a 4th on the way.
Well, why is that? I mean, a lot of people consider the sequels better than the first movie, excluding the 4th one, which, of course, according to some people, it's like the worst thing ever created, and it actually destroyed everything, and it burned their crops, and it killed their families. But for a lot of people, I love the second one, and I think the third one's also good. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the third one, but still, and also, it was a very successful movie, so it got sequels. Yeah, that's how movies work. When they're successful, they make sequels. And it's not like the story just ended, like they couldn't continue it. I mean, why did it not deserve to have a sequel? If it was a big technological advancement, a big success, big hit with critics and audiences, it got sequels. That's what happens.
No! My main problem with Toy Story is the villain.
Okay.
Who's the supposedly evil child living next door in the first Toy Story film?
Well, it's not that he's evil. It's just that, that's how it's perceived by the fucking toys, because he's constantly messing with and moving them around and shit and fucking reassembling them into new abominations.
But what is Sid's great crime? What did he do wrong? He takes apart his toys and reassembles them.
Well, yeah. you know, like from an average person's perspective, it's not even necessarily that he's that bad of a kid, but we're talking about this from the toys' perspective. You know, they only consider him bad because he's fucking messing with and killing them and all that. And also, like, this is a very basic observation, and it's not even like against the film. It's just saying like, oh, from a certain perspective, Sid's not even a villain. And like, yeah, like people have known that for 30 years. People have been making that observation for 30 years. What does that say about the movie being overrated? Oh, got a $5 A from Hey Roofied. Hey Roofied? Bro describes watching Sonic 3 like sacrificing his lifespan for his children. You know, like that. I mean, that's how it is. Did you not see Sonic 3? Did you not see how it completely ripped out his organs, ripped out his soul, and put them back in like Sid from Toy Story? That's how it goes.
This makes him a bad person?
Not necessarily, just like, you know, from the toys' perspective.
He didn't know the toys were alive.
So. Okay, yeah. And they make that known. It's not like they torture him or anything. They're just like, hey, Sid, you know, we're actually alive. That's literally, that's all they do, is that they say like, so play nice. And then they just scare him, you know, get him to stop torturing toys after he knows that they are alive. That's the long and short of what happens.
How could you blame him for that? He thought they were inanimate objects.
Yeah, but like from the toys, we're talking about it from the toys' perspective. He is a threat to the toys.
How can we blame him?
The toys are the main characters.
For his treatment of inanimate objects.
Who cares? Like, what is this argument even? What is this against the film? Yeah, he's the villain of the film from the toys' perspective. That's how it works, because the toys are the main characters.
Like, if it turns out that my chair is actually alive, am I suddenly a scumbag for...
Is this literally the whole section? Does he not have any other points? Let's speed through this. Let's see. Does he have any other points about Toy Story?
Sitting on it all these years? So, in fact, Sid is arguably a more sympathetic character than Andy. Sid is creative.
Okay, well, now he's moving on, it seems. All right, sure. Sid is creative. All right.
He takes old toys and turns them into like new shapes and interesting creatures.
Yeah, I mean, he does also, you know, take toys from his sister without her wanting him to.
While Andy forms very unhealthy fixations on his toys.
What? I mean, he likes his toys. He's a child. You know, he has short-term hyper interests in, like, you know, Woody and then Buzz and whatever. At worst, he's like autistic, maybe, you know, like a hyperfixation. But then again, he could just be a kid. You know, kids have very random hyperfixations that they teeter between on a daily basis. That's how kids are. I mean, you have children, right? You should know that's exactly how they act.
Never does anything interesting or creative with them.
Oh, he doesn't. And he's actually the bad guy because he doesn't rip apart his toys and create new things from them.
And like, there's nothing wrong with a child having a toy, but it's like, it's a bit overboard.
What? Like decorating his room with memorabilia, drawing pictures? What about this is over the top exactly?
Okay, you're a little bit too old to be this attached to your toys, Andy.
Well, he's like 9 years old, dipshit. And also, like, who cares? Like, he's just some kid. And also, it was 1995 when that movie came out. What else are kids supposed to do other than, like, play with toys and fucking super soakers or watch TV? Maybe, what was he? Did you think he should get a Red Ryder BB gun? You know, so you can play with his mom and shoot her eye out, whatever.
Well, whatever, all right? I mean, it's time to grow up.
So
it's time to grow up. Can't play with toys when you're 9 anymore. You're a man, basically. You gotta start growing a beard when you're 9. Otherwise, you're a pussy, a pansy.
It seems unfair for me to rate Toy Story as overrated just for this reason, but this is...
Yeah, because it's not really even like a knock against the themes or the characters or the story or the writing or the animation or anything, really. You're just like, you just provided an alternate perspective on the villain character that everyone has been making for 30 years.
This is my list and I'll do what I want. Like I said, we're not talking about it. Your comments are not welcome. I don't care what you think. This is just the truth. Number 3, The Dark Knight. Again,
haven't seen it. Have not seen The Dark Knight. I know, like, wow, how could you have not seen The Dark Knight? Haven't seen it personally, but let's hear what Matt has to say about why it's bad.
Now, once again, good film. It just isn't the masterpiece that people make it out to be. Without Heath Ledger's great performance, this movie wouldn't be remembered for anything in particular. Like,
I mean, I've seen clips from it. You know, it's got a pretty distinct directing style. Pretty interesting story, interesting characters. And yeah, Heath Ledger is the standout. That's been known for like the past like 15 17 years since the Dark Knight came out. Yeah. Okay. So what are the issues though?
Like, take Heath Ledger out of it. What does anyone remember about this movie? Who cares
I mean, I just said multiple things you could say
about this movie except for that? It's great by Batman movie standards, but it's not great as a piece of cinema.
What? I mean, I would consider multiple Batman films great pieces of cinema. You know, Batman '89, pretty cool. Batman Returns, pretty cool. I've seen Batman Begins. Batman Begins is pretty cool. Like, what makes these lower as forms of cinema? Because they're superhero movies? Like, what's wrong with that? Who cares? I mean, if they're good movies, they're good movies. And, you know, I could make a really good argument for why Batman '89 or Batman Returns are pretty good movies. You know, they're very visually distinct, very well acted, a lot of memorable scenes, memorable characters, interesting villains, very interesting villains with great performances from their respective actors. Very aesthetically interesting and pleasing. It's got that Tim Burton goodness. You know, like, that I'd say they're pretty cinematic, pretty good movies. Like, what's wrong with them?
I thought my jokes were bad.
For example, how does the Joker wire an entire hospital with enough explosives to demolish it in 15 seconds without anyone noticing?
This is just a nitpick. I mean, like, at best, it could be like, I guess, a legitimate minor complaint, but this isn't this. It's not like a major thematic or story or anything claim. You're just saying like, well, you know, that's just one thing. There's just one thing that happens in the movie that's not very realistic. Like, who gives a shit? Okay, he wired a hospital to explode. That's not very realistic. You know what else isn't very realistic? A billionaire turning himself into a bat-themed superhero and fighting a clown. What are we doing here? I feel like you're kind of missing the forest for the trees here, Matt.
How this is a work.
This is exactly like what he did with fucking Toy Story, where he's just like, well, you know, it's overrated because Sid, from an alternate perspective, isn't that bad. Who gives a shit? I don't care.
Hospital. People are in it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. How did you wired the whole thing? It's not even just like one part of it explodes. The whole thing is taken down.
Now.
So
Ready.
Now,
why are we showing this? You're just showing like random movie clips now, just to add to your comedic prowess. Is that what's going on here?
the movie hopes that you won't notice that problem because you'll be distracted by like the moment in the hospital when Joker shows up in Two-Face's room wearing a surgical mask and isn't noticed by Two-Face until he takes the mask off.
Maybe it's because, well, I mean, I have not seen the movie. Very like upfront about that, but you know, he does seem to be fucking catatonic in a hospital bed, probably not fully cognizant, not paying attention to things. And also, it seems like it's an intentionally kind of comedic moment where he's like he's got the full makeup on and he's just wearing a mask and he doesn't notice until he takes it off. It's kind of goofy.
But
like, what is this like as a general, like an actual criticism against the movie? What are you even saying?
Even with the mask on, you could still tell that he has white face paint and black paint around his eyes. So how did Two-Face, the criminal genius, not notice that? Well, maybe it's because Two-Face isn't a criminal genius in this. He's a villain for about a half a scene.
Again, I could not tell you. I have not seen The Dark Knight.
And then he's dead. It's like Christopher Nolan forgot to include Two-Face. They were about to put the movie out. You know, it's like a week and the movie's gonna come out, and someone says, "Whoa, we forgot. We're gonna put Two-Face in this thing."
Probably not what happened.
Oh yeah. Then they gotta go back and add Two-Face in, and you just take Two-Face out. And
I'm just gonna speed through this.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
But my biggest issue is the end.
Okay,
When Joker
the ending.
somehow wires two boats, two ferries with explosives. Again, nobody knows how he did this. And then the passengers on each boat are told that they have to press a button and blow the other boat up before their own boat explodes.
Okay.
And one of the boats is full of convicted criminals, right? And then, of course, all the criminals band together and decide to do the right thing and not blow up the other boat. They said, okay.
I mean, I have no idea what the context is, but like, you know, that sounds like a very character-driven decision.
Come on, guys, let's do the right. Come on, folks.
It is unrealistic that criminals would not want to kill an entire ferry full of people. Unrealistic. They cannot do good. Criminals cannot do good things. What is this? This is not reality. Is this the real life, or is this just fantasy?
Hey, fellas, come on, let's do the right thing here, because we all know that criminals are renowned for their humanity and generosity and lack of self-interest. Maybe
It's like he has like this black and white worldview where it's like every criminal is a piece of shit. Weirdly, like consistent theme here. Like he's bringing up movies where criminals are not universally terrible, and he's just like, what? What? That's crazy. That's so wild, you guys.
Maybe these were all inmates, from Shawshank. Like maybe that.
Yeah,
Just so happened
he
that
even mentions it.
the nicest
This is not a criticism of the movie. I'd have no idea what the context is.
criminals ever
He's not even giving context.
happened to be on this boat. So the movie just didn't have the courage of its convictions. That's what I didn't like about it.
Courage of his convictions. What? Oh, he's got a ExpressVPN now. Okay. Let's see here. Something Marvel related now?
IT. Number 2, Marvel movies. All of them.
All of them? All of them? Every single Marvel movie that's ever been created? Oh, now I see. Now I understand you, Matt. So you're like you're probably the type of guy who goes like, you like Marvel movies? What, have you never seen a Quentin Tarantino film? Have you never seen a Martin Scorsese movie, you little baby? You little bitch boy? You like Marvel movies? Don't you know that Marvel comes from comics, which are for children? Don't you know that, you little stupid baby beta male cuck? I would never like a Marvel movie, because I am a superior being. Like, just generalizing the entirety, every single Marvel movie that's ever been made, okay?
The whole Marvel movie canon, they are all overrated
Have you seen all of them? Have you seen all, like, 30 of them? You can make that judgment?
because they're all rated as being at least better than cinematic slop,
Well, I wouldn't say all of them are. Some of them are considered pretty bad.
which is what they are.
They're all of them?
All are. Okay.
Oh, really? All of them are. So you're telling me, like, there's no, like, literally not a single redeemable quality or single good film among them. They're all slop. Every single one of them, universally. Okay. Let's hear your points on how that is.
They're all bad. Like every single Marvel movie is bad. There's never been a good one. I hate to say.
Oh, there's never been a good one, really. I mean, I don't like too many. I haven't really kept up with like the latest stuff. I didn't really like some of the stuff that came out immediately after Endgame. There are definitely a lot of Phase 2 movies I'm not a big fan of, but there are a good couple of them I think are pretty good. Like Thor Ragnarok, pretty good. All the Guardians movies, pretty good. First Iron Man, pretty good. I would argue there's a couple good ones in there. Like
Tell you.
The original Iron Man is really, really great.
Oh, Ben Shapiro apparently agrees with me.
The original Guardian of the Galaxy was a real breath of fresh air. And
Okay, apparently me and Ben Shapiro have similar takes. Okay.
Iron Man is wildly underrated to me. Doctor Strange 2016, again, enjoyable. And Thor Ragnarok is just pure silly.
The Marvel superhero franchise started out with like silly, dumb movies that were silly and dumb, but at least kind of fun in a very brainless, bordering on mind-numbing way.
I would not say that at all, really. I mean, like I'd say that's really more like later on when the MCU sort of fell into a bit more of a formula, a bit more of a, like a rhythm, a groove. Like you start to expect certain things from Marvel movies after a while because they figure out what they wanted to do. But in like the early phases, especially like Phase 1, they were really experimenting with how the films would like, how they would be, because like Iron Man, that's an action film that's about a jaded billionaire realizing the effect he has on the planet after spending several years being completely apathetic and blissfully ignorant to the effect like the weapons that he's selling has on people, until he literally gets attacked with his own weapons by terrorists and realizes that he has built his fortune on a negative thing and wants to change that. Captain America is a wartime movie about a guy gaining a super soldier serum in the 1940s and fighting Nazis. Thor is a fish out of water comedy action film about a Greek god going down to Earth. These are very different, all very different movies. Some of them are not very silly, especially Iron Man. I mean, Iron Man has some humor in it, but some serious themes in there, some actual really serious shit that's not quite as as prominent or real in the later Marvel movies when they get a bit further into the canon.
But then as the films kept getting churned out, they got longer and longer and more redundant. And
well, first of all, you're doing these completely out of order, and also there are plenty of Marvel movies that are not that long, so I don't understand what this criticism even is.
lazier. Like by the end of this whole run,
Black Panther Wakanda, that came out after Endgame. Endgame was the longest. Endgame and Infinity War, those were especially long because they were, the culmination movies where everything came together.
Each movie is 6.5 hours long, and
No,
but it's the same. Like somehow every movie is the same as the last one, but
not really. Not really. I mean, some are more similar than others. I'll give you that much. But you're not really making a case.
longer. Aside from that, the movies have no stakes.
No stakes?
And this problem became more pronounced as they started adding multiple universes and so on, until there were so many realities and so many universes that nothing that happened in any particular universe matters anymore.
Why?
You kill off somebody in one universe, there's an infinite supply of new versions to replace them.
Oh, this is just fucking stupid. Like, what are you even talking about? There's a whole, like, that's a fucking stupid idea, because first of all, like, yes, there are infinite universes, but we're not following those infinite universes. We are following the characters of this particular universe. We are getting invested in their stories, what they are going through. If you just randomly, like, kill off a main character 3 films in and replace him with the same guy from a different universe, that's going to create a disconnect, because, like, technically they're the same guy, but they've been removed from the reality they originally came from. They are from a different context we don't know about. And there's even like a whole story arc in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 where after Gamora dies and basically gets taken from her old self and brought to the present, they could create this whole thematic thing about how Peter tries to reconnect with her but is unable to, and it makes it for this whole narrative arc that's reminiscent of how people can often, like, originally be in love and then fall out of love and then not be able to rekindle that same fire they originally had. It was a very interesting direction that James Gunn took with the story arc, and it was based entirely on the idea that people cannot just be replaced. And also, in general, we're just watching the regular characters. We're watching this universe's characters and getting involved in their stories. So who gives a shit if, like, one of them die? Who gives a shit if, like, well, people do give, sorry, fucking, people give a shit if characters die. You can't just replace them. Like, they've made that very clear.
So who gives a shit then at that point?
See what I mean? Not very bright.
In the old days, a superhero was fighting a villain who wanted to, maybe take over a city or something. But then it's
Green Goblin didn't want to take over the city.
like, okay, now they want to destroy a whole planet, and then they're going to destroy a whole galaxy, and then eventually he's going to destroy the whole universe. Except that
Well, that's not what those characters were wanting to do. Some characters in the MCU do want to do that.
that doesn't
Like Thanos. Well, Thanos didn't want to destroy the universe. He wanted to wipe out half of all living creatures.
even matter, because this is one universe of 1 trillion, and so who cares about?
You might as well just be saying, like, why get invested in stories? Why care about characters? Why care about anything? They're not real. They are fictional. Yeah, that's sort of the thing about storytelling, is you can get invested in things that aren't real because you care about these individual characters and their individual struggles and their individual stories. Like, who gives a shit if there's multiple universes? We're not following those. We're following this one. And if the stories can get us invested in the characters and their interpersonal conflicts, then who gives a shit if there's multiple worlds out there? Doesn't matter. That's not the point.
About this
This is why multiverse universes can exist.
universe. But the writing was so bad and so lazy that
You haven't even said anything about the writing.
even the threat of universal destruction wasn't enough to create any real emotional investment in the story.
How? Why? I mean, I felt pretty invested in an Endgame when it came out. Been a while since I've watched it. Pretty invested in Infinity War.
Number one, the most overrated film of all time is
Star Wars. Okay, why is Star Wars overrated?
It's fine. It's decent.
Okay,
It's not deserving of the worshipful praise it receives, and it certainly
why?
does not warrant the 10 billion trillion films and shows and everything else that came after them.
Why?
Not true.
The original Star Wars movies were solid B movies.
That's
Okay,
impossible.
The acting's pretty poor, especially by Mark Hamill.
why? What's wrong with his performance?
Really, really bad acting.
Why? Why is it bad? You're just saying shit. You're not actually explaining anything.
the script is kind of cheesy and derivative in parts. And I say
I mean, it's not derivative, it's inspired. Because, George Lucas, he was a filmmaker, and he was also like an auteur. He was a guy who liked fucking old-ass samurai films and westerns and fucking political thrillers. And he put that all into Star Wars to make it like a very interesting sci-fi film that has literal, like, fucking showdowns and fucking laser battles and, like, sword fights, essentially. Like, there's a lot of inspiration, and it's very clearly worn on his sleeve, like, for all the movies. So I don't understand really what this criticism is. I mean, it innovated the sci-fi genre a lot, just by, it's creative, interesting, and pretty much, like, using these old ideas for filmmaking and effectively bringing them into a new genre.
derivative, not because, everything after Star Wars is ripping it off, so I'm just used to it. Even Star Wars, when it came out, was derivative of sci-fi that had come before it.
Really? Like, how? I mean, I won't say it, like, reinvented the wheel or anything, but it's not. It did also, like, it led to being an inspiration for a lot of things that came afterwards. It had its own interesting aesthetic. It was. What was it derivative of, and how? You can't just say things and expect people to believe you without giving any evidence, Matt.
It was not doing anything all that new. And but that's fine. Darth Vader is a 12-year-old boy's idea of a scary villain. Like, he's not actually menacing, and he doesn't create real tension.
What? I mean, like, Darth Vader, he's not even that scary, man. Like, I could beat up Darth Vader. If I really wanted, like, I'm pretty tough, okay? I have a beard, I do figure skating, I play Monopoly. I could take Darth Vader. If I saw Darth Vader, I would come up and I would punch him in the face, man. And I would fucking kill him. Because I'm fucking tough. I'm fucking radical, dude. I'm more radical than Darth Vader. And what's this criticism that there's no tension? I mean, he's a powerful Sith Lord that can kill people easily. One of the first things he does is use the Death Star to blow up an enemy planet. He's easily able to overcome the main characters. It kills the main mentor, Obi-Wan, in the first movie, and he almost kills Luke if it weren't for Obi-Wan's guidance, fucking avoiding him, during the dogfight. So, like, and also just, like, in general, he's incredibly powerful, like, both on a political and, like, general level. Like, he's basically, a fleet admiral, and he's got literal planet-destroying vessels at his command that he could use to destroy all of the characters' comrades and homeworlds and loved ones and them. So what's not terrifying? What's like? Why is there no tension? Like, if during the scene in Cloud City where the characters, they think they're safe from Darth Vader, they're with Lando Calrissian, and they're walking up and they see Darth Vader sitting across from them. They see basically their incarnation of Super Hitler. Right there. Should they just not be afraid because he's